according to the power that listen, church, God is able to do just what He said He would do, and He's gonna fulfill every promise to you. This is your word. Don't give up on God, 'cause He won't give up on you. Listen, He's able. I feel God in the room. He's able. I need a crazy worshiper to lift your voice, lift your hands. God is able to do just what He said He would. He's gonna fulfill every promise to you. So don't give up on God. Don't you give up on God. I see somebody there.
You know, people talk about what I call there's this craze now in most places. They call self-discovery. But you see, at times you look in yourself, there is nothing to discover. Because Because there's a treasure hid, 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 7.
Yes, sir.
So it's a fact of life. You can't. There's a treasure hid in a hidden jar. It is God discovery. The more you discover God, the more...
Hello, good evening everybody out there. I want to personally welcome you on board on another exciting edition of the Bishop Show. Now, I still want to remind you that the Bishop Show is a platform where we raise godly youths. We really want to transform the society for Christ. We really want to give our youth sense of belonging, even in the society. We really want them to stand tall. And tonight on the Bishop Show, we have a wonderful guest with us. He's a pastor. He's the senior pastor of Power Nation International here in the heart of the cold city, Onuigbo. And he loves working with the youth. He's a man of God, a man of the season. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to present to you Reverend Onuigbo. Good day, sir.
God bless you.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. We are so happy to have you on the show.
Me too. I'm happy to be
Yes,
here.
sir. This very evening, we'll be looking at the topic fraud. Now, I want you to go, get your pen, get your writing materials, invite your friends, and sit right back as we go for a short break. When we return, we'll start off this show properly. Enjoy this break. Welcome back from that short break. Now, before the break, we told you that we'll be discussing the topic fraud. And we have a man of the season here with us in the studio. And, sir, you know, we hear of fraud every day.
Yeah.
And people are being, you know, they enter into it, they engage into it, and it's more on when it concerns the youth. Now, what is this fraud of a thing?
Well, thank you very much. Fraud has to do with when an individual under false pretense acquires wealth, goods, commodities, you know, whatever is acquired under a false pretense is fraud. You know, it has to do with the disguise. When somebody is engaging in fraud, he doesn't present himself with his original credentials. You know, it seems to subvert, you know, the opinion of other people, and it tends to unlawfully take away from another person what belongs to him and give it to another person. That is what fraud has to do with. It has to do with disguise. It has to do with unlawful acquisition of wealth, unlawful acquisition of property, unlawful acquisition of material possessions. And at the end of the day, it bears down on the mind, because you are under, after you commit fraud, you are under, if you have a conscience, because it's not everybody that has a conscience.
Yes, sir.
If you have a conscience, your conscience will not be at rest. Your conscience will not be at peace, because you know that that thing you acquired by fraud, you took it from somebody. You took it from an organization, you took it from a nation, because you know that there are people that engage in national frauds, like some of our senators and government officials that, you know, take things from the government account that doesn't belong to them, governors and all that.
Yes,
we have local government frauds, we have personal, we have family frauds, where somebody will go and sell the land that belongs to the family and claim that he's the one that has the land. We have a youth fraud, like we're talking about today. Young men going on the internet, Yahoo, 419ers, telling people they have a gold mine, they have a oil depot somewhere that they should come and buy. You know, so there are different dimensions and different classes of fraud. You know, yes.
Okay, so now, why do young people engage in this fraudulent activities? Why is it much on the youth?
Well, it's much on the youth because of, number one, I don't want to say that it has to do with government policies. I think that the juvenile delinquency is a result of poor parental care. When you discover a failure of a generation because a family failed to do what it's supposed to do. Yeah. When a generation fails, it has nothing to do with the government. Because in school we learned about formal and informal education. The most important education is informal education, the education that starts at home. Now, if you don't have a strong, God-centered house, you are going to have a delinquent society, have youths that are running helter-skelter. If there is no value system in the house, there's no law and order. You see a young girl doing what he wants to do, wake up in the morning and does what he wants to do. A young boy, does what he wants to do, and there is no discipline, because the Bible says that foolishness is the heart of a child, but the rod of correction drives it far away from him. So when there is failure in the house, it's meant to affect the behavioral pattern of the youth. So when parents don't play the role they are supposed to play, that also results in the child developing fraudulent behavior. Number two is government policies. You discover that when there is higher unemployment, you discover that there is pressure upon the common youth to go to university for 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, depending on the course you read, and then you come out and for 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 years you don't have a job. One day I was in a city, I entered a cab. The cab guy was speaking very fluent English. I asked him, sir, what is your name? He told me his name. I said, did you go to school? He said, yeah. I said, I have a PhD. And he said, I said, what are you doing as a cab driver? I said, I finished university and I got my master's. I thought that master's would do it. I went for my PhD. I thought that PhD would do it. But look at me. I had to go and find a loan from my uncle that's an amateur trader to have a car. So unemployment can make people begin to engage, in these unlawful practices.
No, sir. I'm kind of quite interested in that of the family. You said for a youth to engage in this fraudulent activity, that it starts from the home. Yes. There's no parental training.
Yes.
Now, if there is no parental training at home, what will be the future of that child?
Well, you can say that again, because you see, when you don't take care of a seed from the planting stage,
yes, sir,
you can't guarantee the growth of that seed. For example, you give birth to a child and you leave the child to go his own way. The child will end up one of the worst, products on earth. Look at those young boys. I was watching a CNN some days back at those young boys that bombed Boston.
Yes, sir.
Their mother is crying. Their mother is childless now, as far as I'm concerned, because the other boy is going to get a death penalty. Why? Because he did not train the child well. Training the child has to do with discipline, enforcing standards, enforcing value system,
yes, sir,
enforcing family culture. That in this family we don't do this, in this family we don't behave this way. So when a child is not guided by this principle, the child becomes wild. The child becomes uncultured, uncivilized. It's just like the young man, the doctor, Dr. Spook in America, David Spook, that said that we should not flog children in school. That if you flog your child, that is going to make the child become an introvert. After 1 year, he said that his own child committed suicide. Yes. Because when you don't enforce family standard and family values, you lose your child. So if you're a parent watching us today, I advise you to enforce standards. Your child may say you are old-fashioned, but it's better you are old-fashioned than you save the destiny of a child, and you are old-fashioned and your children put you to shame.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Let's look it from the other way or the other point. Whereby you have a good parental training, a good home training. But what about the peers outside? What about the peer pressure? Yeah. Now,
the Bible says that you should train up a child in the way he should go. That when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Yes, sir.
You see, the peer pressure outside is not as powerful as the internal pressures in the house. Because if you have a right foundation, let's take for example, we come in this area. The Bible talks about the house built upon the rock and the one built upon the sand. Both houses face the same pressure.
Yes, sir.
The Bible says that the one on the sand, the storm hit it, the waves came, the wind blew it. But the house was standing. Why? The one on the sand fell. Why? Because the foundation was faulty. Now, the one on the rock, the same pressure that came came on the one on the sandy soil, the wind, the turbulence, everything. But that one stood. Why? Because it was built upon the rock. So there is a mindset that you must instill into your child. That mindset is what gives him a character. You see, when a child has a character, what happens outside does not affect him. The peer pressure, they say come and drink, come and smoke, come let's womanize, come let's get up. The child will tell the peer, sorry, in our family we don't do that kind of thing. Like in my family, there were so many things I didn't do because of the fear of discipline. Like even up to when I graduated from university, I don't keep late nights. Why? Because my father, even if your head is touching the heavens, as far as you're living in his house, you cannot come back in that house after 8 o'clock. So there was this. So even no matter how far we went in the things of the world, there was still this rope on our neck that you can't go more than this distance. So when you, even if you're under peer pressure and you have the right foundation, what does the right foundation do? It puts boundary. Yes, sir. So no matter the pressure that comes from outside, you discover that because that child have received a particular kind of training, the child will always be around. Even if the child deviates, even if the child backslides. That's why God said, train up a child in the way he should go. He said, when he is old, he will not depart. Why? Because that way, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Yes. When you introduce Jesus to a child at the cradle, no matter where he goes to, that thing will bring him back home. Look at the prodigal son. He went far, he went to all sorts of nonsense, but there was something that was introduced into him that made it impossible for him to go too far. You know?
Yes, sir. Wow. I love that. Alright, we'll go for a short break. When we return, the story continues. Enjoy this break.
Welcome to Fresh Fire Assembly Port Harcourt. Venue: Conference Hall, Mebli Hotels, Rumewari Onuigbo, Port Harcourt. Services: Sundays 8 o'clock a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Thursdays midweek 5 o'clock p.m. to 7:30. Last Fridays of every month. Video 9 o'clock p.m. till dawn. Both pastors, Apostle Frank and Pastor Mrs. Zoe Amici. Enquiries: call 08038772245, 08037889182.
One feels right. Happy birthday to you. And may all your dreams come true. We sing happy birthday.
Evangel Television is here again. Special children's birthday party last Saturday of every month. Last Saturday of every month. Venue: Evangel Television premises. Plus R8 Ozubolo Street, Independence Layout, Enugu State, Nigeria. Time 12 noon to 4 p.m. Lot of games, gift items and free meals await you. Get fee 1,000 naira only. Individuals, schools, churches can book for this month. For further enquiry, please call the numbers on your screen.
And everyone feels right.
What are you waiting for? Come with your family and friends as we celebrate your special birthday. Evangel Television, wishing you a happy birthday.
You are watching Evangel Television, all the gospel.
Back from that short break. I believe you really enjoyed yourself with that little music that was on during the break. Now, for those of you that are just joining us, this is still the Bishop Show, and we've been treating fraud. You know, we've been in the studio with our dear Pastor, Reverend Onuigbo. Now, sir, the internet is the cheapest way of involving oneself. You know, the youths. they now use the internet. Why?
Number one, because of you see, the world has now become a global village. Because of internet, you can't be in Nigeria and have a conference with somebody in America, somebody in Australia, somebody in Belgium. So the internet has become a melting pot or a center point where all informations and all races gather to. Especially now, this generation of Twitter and Facebook, you discover that everybody's near everybody now. So the internet is number one, a place whereby people from all generations can be accessed. So they now use it for something that is not supposed to be for better use, sharing ideas and innovations. It's now being turned to use into fraudulent practices. Why? Because from there they get their, I don't want to use the term they call it in the world, their prospects.
Okay.
The people that they feel that can be easily swayed. So you discover that the regular Facebook account or the regular email, if you open it every day, you see about 10 different or 20 different mails from people you don't know that say, I'm in this country, I have my father before he died, he left property, but there was one in my country, I had to run from Togo to Sierra Leone, please help, So they are every day I open my email, I discover thousands of mails from people, and all they just need for them to hook you into their web is for you to reply. Yes, so the internet has become a place whereby everybody's on the internet these days. So they are looking for clients, or where they see their clients is on the internet.
Yeah. So can we say that most of the people caught into this web, because when they send you make mention of sending mails to you concerning so and so thing and so thing. Now, are you saying that if, for instance, I have the urge for money or the quest for money, and someone sends such mail to me and I reply, what would be my end? Let me just put it that way.
The end is already plausible, because I used to say when I preach that if a 419 succeeds in duping you, or if somebody that is a fraudster succeeds in taking what belongs to you, it's because you yourself have the tendency of being a fraudster. Because there are some things that are too good to be true.
Yes, sir.
Too good to be true. So that means that you have for them to successfully dupe, you must have a bent character. Your character must be bent. So they send you an email or something that looks funny, and you respond. What should you respond? Is the person your mother's friend or your cousin or your relative? If you don't know the person, then there's no point responding. And even when a relative comes, you look at it, you pray about it. That is why we have the fruit of the Spirit and the gift of the Holy Spirit. The gift of discernment should be able to help you to know when something is real and when it's not real. So you discover that if somebody sends you such email and you respond, that means that you yourself is even looking for a get-rich-quick scam. You are looking for a way to make money in an unreal manner. So you must be, you must have your guards up about these things, and then you must be able to look into it and find out that what these people are saying is not the truth.
Yes,
So if they catch you and then you become interested, because I've seen people that have sold their properties. One of my uncles, they told him to bring out 250,000 some years back, and they brought the money and they told him to go to one pipe in Emily, that after he'll be blowing the pipe, when he blows it, gold will be coming out. I mean, it's crazy. This is a real, he gave them money, and from morning he was blowing the pipe and no gold came out.
Wow.
And this is just an example of things that happen on a daily basis, and then you see somebody tell you get 10,000, I'm going to give you another bill after when you wash it in water, it's going to come out to 10 million. So these are funny stories, and people are falling for it.
That reminds me, if you're watching this show right now and you've been a victim of this fraud, they've duped you in one way or the other, and you need help, you can write us via the numbers on your screen, or you can send us an email today, and we'll definitely will give you help. All right, now, Reverend Sir, what is the role of the government to bring this fraud to a stop?
Well, the government cannot bring fraud to a stop, but they can minimize it to a barest minimum.
Okay.
No government in the world, even America, with all this intellectual advancement over the past 21st century, they have not been able to stop fraud. Actually, you discover that more fraud happens in America and in China and more developed countries than they happen all over the world. Why? Because just like the other day, the account of Associated Press, AP, was hacked by hackers. So these are high level. So in Nigeria, we're experiencing low level technological crimes. There are people that what they do is to raid banks and all that and transfer money. So what the government can do to bring fraud to a various minimum is to introduce policies. Okay. Policies. Government cannot do anything without policies. Policies that monitor the internet. Policies that checkmate financial transactions. You know, but the problem is that most governments will not like to do such things because it's going to also put them under check. Yes. Because what government can do is to produce policies that monitor international flow of financial transactions, those that are going in the bank to collect money for international trade or to collect international currencies. Fraud. Like some time ago, I went to my bank account to pick up money when I was going to go and take flight. I won't pressure the name of the bank, and I thought that my account was zero. Somebody had hacked into my account and cleared my account. Oh, yes. Cleared every damaged account. And the person cleared it via internet. So it can't be traced. And the person cleared it with my code. So it was as if I was the one that collected the one that came to collect it. So, but if these policies are you put the 2-3 steps into the system, whereby when you want to collect money via internet, you have to first of all put your mother's maiden name, your wife's last name, and then there are so many things to do. I'm not the one to tell you what to do, but fraud can be minimized, but it cannot be stopped.